Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Zelda 2. In the last part we did the second dungeon and other things in the process if I recall correctly. And now we're going to continue on. Now, in the last part you may have noticed this graveyard here with Moas. I hate these guys. They steal experience points. Now you might notice this big grave here. This is the King's Tomb. I forget how they hint to it. I think it's just someone in either Mado or Rudo. But they hint to the fact that the next dungeon's entrance is south of that, so just head down here. There's also a red potion you can get somewhere on that path, but I forget where it is. I think it's two to the right, to the left rather, of one of the blocks that leads to this place. And you need fairy to progress on here, so make sure you get that. Wait, is this not? Wait, this is a reused area actually. We've seen this place before. I actually never noticed that. And welcome to this little island. This is not the island palace like some people call it. It's actually the graveyard palace. Don't hit this one by this night, by the way, because it contains red dark nut. If you want the experience, though, go all for it. Let's see, which one is this? Oh, I remember now. This dungeon has a couple new enemies, including these guys who have one of the best names ever. These guys are Doom Knockers. They're essentially mace throwers, except they throw the maces directly at you. And downward stab is a good way to go against them. And then there's the other new enemy, Armored Stalfos, or Stalfos rather, which are like normal Stalfos, and except they try to jump behind you a lot more often, and they hurt more. And Muse and Tin Suits are nothing new, although I like how the Tin Suits kind of warp up to the top. NES limits. This room can potentially be annoying just due to the falling blocks and the two Moas which will drop fire on you. But for me it's honestly no problem at all. This room is, though, because we got a key down here that you need to use the downward stab to get, because I think it is actually a required attack. But we also got this Doom Knocker over breakable blocks. Not the funnest thing in the world. And this room, which I don't recommend going for any of the red, Iron Knuckles in, honestly, because they're just not worth it. And for some reason we already get another recolor of the Armored Stalfos. Don't know why. Also, fun fact about this dungeon, this is the only one, as far as I can recall, that you actually go back outside for a period in. I'm not sure why this is here, but it is. Also, what do you guys think of that red brick? I like it. Yet again, in the Japanese version, this was all just the gray brick from the first dungeon for some reason. And the third new enemy of this dungeon, Wolf Heads. They're essentially dragon heads, except they go in this set pattern, they steal experience points, and they respawn infinitely. And they fire things at you, which isn't fun. They can be pretty good for grinding experience points, though, if you can get them coming from one solid direction. Be careful with that Dark Nut, because you can knock him into the... Dark Nut. Iron Knuckle, because you can knock him into the lava, so you won't get the experience points from him. And this is definitely a game where you want to finish at max level. Unlike, say, Final Fantasy VIII, where you want to stay as low level as possible because the enemies level up along with you for some stupid reason. Anyway, new enemy here, Blue Dark Nuts. I hate these guys. Dark Nuts. Iron Knuckles. I hate these guys. They're pretty much the red guys, except they throw their knives, and they have more HP. Oh, boy. We're gonna be seeing a lot of these guys, by the way, and just look how much they're kicking my ass. Yeah. Anyway, we got the raft, which only serves one purpose. Like in Zelda 1. Actually, yeah, you only used it once in Zelda 1, didn't you? Huh. Because, yeah, the stepladder was used to do stuff normally. Anyway, with that, we're pretty much done in the main part of the dungeon here. After this, all we have to do is go to the boss. In fact, that's one thing people like to do in this game. Well, some people. They like to go through the dungeons, get the dungeon items, and then leave. Because due to the automatic level ups that you can get from defeating the bosses, you can get some really high experience levels really easily. Or at least the last 6. Mind you, I never do that, but it's a possibility, I suppose. And yet again, if you want to, you can use the fairy spell to just go right through the keyholes. I might be doing that in Dungeon 4, actually. I think it's Dungeon 4, it might be Dungeon 5, actually. Oh, I hate this room. We got wolf heads, and a lot of them. Infinitely spawning. And I have to go down here and get this key. And then dig my way out with wolf heads spawning right in front of me. Yeah, screw that. We're cutting back to the previous room. I can't say it enough. I love this song. Okay, this is the room with more Doom Knockers? No, the red armored Stalfos. Is it Stalfos or Stalfos? I honestly don't know. Yeah, I want that. And a Doom Knocker. Yet again, if you can do downward stab against them, they'll go down really easily. And again, that's pretty much every enemy. And you can't block maces with your face, Link. What are you doing? Now, this is a room I recommend you skip out on the experience of, because we got Iron Knuckles in here. And, because of this, you're gonna need to be able to time your jumps carefully because of, well, how narrow the space is. You need to kill the first red one, the others are completely optional. Good luck with the blue one. Though mind you, I think with my experience points I would have been good if I just went to the boss immediately. And if I wasn't before, I definitely would have been by now. And there's another attack level up. Those are always good to have. In fact, I think attack might be the most useful stat, just because you obviously have to attack stuff so often. Actually, whenever I hear this song, first off, I think of Melee. But for another thing, you guys ever see Brental Floss's Zelda 2 with lyrics? Look it up, it's awesome. Anyway, boss of this dungeon is a blue Dark Knight on a horse. This is actually one of the only multi-phase boss fights in the game, if not the only. Pretty much you have to downward stab his robotic horse, which has a really cool turning animation, but I didn't get to show it off because it was always off-screen here. Just stab it in the face about, I think that's 8 times? And then after that, it'll just become a normal blue Iron Knuckle. Honestly, it's a really easy boss. Though I do like the whole idea of it. And down it goes. I don't think you actually have to hit this horse necessarily 8 times, but you have to hit it enough. And after that becomes a very easy blue... Well, not easy blue Iron Knuckle, but an Iron Knuckle nonetheless. And wouldn't you know it, because I was recording myself, this boss decided to give me all sorts of crap. The thing with the Iron Knuckles is that they are set to stay a certain distance away from you until you start gaining speed towards them, I suppose, is the... I could have explained that so much better. Pretty much, they always are, to an extent, a certain distance away from you. And once you know it, for me, that certain extent is almost off the screen. Oh, I nearly made that. Hence why I'm ducking, I'm sighing. Yeah, it would have been good if I had just killed him instead of going for the Iron Knuckles earlier for level ups. But with that, that's 3 palaces down. We're technically at the halfway point of the game. There's only 6 dungeons in this game, not including the final one. Alrighty, give me that free level up. Yeah, you can actually cancel the level up. I'm not sure what doing so does, but you can. And with that, we're done here, so let's actually cut back to here in south of Mido, so we can head on over to Eastern Hyrule, where pretty much the rest of the game takes place. And we got Tektites here. We can't fight these guys now, in this version. On the Japanese version, you can hurt these guys with your normal sword, however, we need something else first in this one. And where do we get that thing? Heading into this house, or town. Welcome to the town of Naburu. Yet again, another Ocarina of Time reference. Well, Ocarina of Time references this town. There's only one thing you really need to do here. And it involves this lady right there. She wants water. We get water right here. Why she couldn't just walk 30 feet to her left, I don't know. But by giving her water, we get to go into her house for some reason. Apparently, having water gets you laid in Hyrule. We get to go see the wise man of this village. And he gives us the fire spell. This is the main way of harming most of the enemies in this area, Tektites and otherwise. And also, I should mention, the Tektites are really good for level grinding if you want to do it, because they give 50 experience per, which, mind you, is the exact same amount of experience points as a bubble. But bubbles have more HP than them, and you fight 3 Tektites per battle, so you can actually get 150 per. It's actually really useful to do so. Just keep an eye on your health and magic if you want to do that. In fact, I do that in between this part and next part, so I gain about 2 levels in doing that. I get up to the 3,500 experience cap one. And these guys are Patras. You know, the guys that had mini guys, the guys that only really showed up in the last dungeon in the first game that had little bat things circling them. Yeah, what the hell happened to these guys? The fall of Ganon really made them go weird. Anyway, there's also anyway, as you may have noticed, I got a pea bag there. There are 2 pea bags you can get in this area, and I'm going for both of them first. Tektites in this game aren't really any big problem, though. Also, for some reason, even when the fire stays on screen, well, if you keep the fire on screen more accurately, the sound effect will keep on playing for some reason. They did realize you're going to use the fire spell a lot, thankfully, so it doesn't take that much MP. Unless you're doing a low-level run, in which case, why are you doing a low-level run? I sense a bit of audio desync, but I can't tell if that's just me or the actual video. Anyway, this is a little experience place you can go to. You don't need to come here, but I am anyway. Yeah, there's definitely a bit of audio desync on my end. Huh. I'm too lazy to fix that this time, though. Anyway, we got another new enemy. I forget what these guys are called. I think it's like skull tars or something. They're pretty much scorpions that you can only hit when their eyes are open. They are highly dangerous, though, so watch out for that. Anyway, we're pretty much done there, so let's head back up in north of town to fight some Aikmans, apparently, again. Don't know why these guys are here, but they are. Ooh, P-Bag, thank you. But this is also where we get a new enemy. Basilisks. They look a lot like Zoras from Zelda 1. I'm Link to the Past, I know, but they're actually basilisks. For some reason. I'll blame Nintendo of America's translation for that. Anyway, the next town's to the west. However, we can't get the spell in there without doing something else first. Because we're actually technically heading towards the dungeon right now. I just bumped my computer, sorry if you heard that. But we're heading to Maze Island here. There's 2 things we can do on this island right now without doing the dungeon. And we're going to be doing those right now because, convenience. Also, downward stab can actually be really useful in these areas because you can use it to pretty much skip past certain enemies just due to the fact that they're invincible to your normal sword. Yet again, I think they are vulnerable to your normal sword in the Japanese version. Think is a keyword. I recall hearing that at some point. Anyway, we first want to head over here. To fall down here and fight a new enemy, Lizalfos. Another Zelda staple from here on. They're pretty much Dark Nuts with longer range. Dark Nuts. Iron Knuckles. I'm gonna keep doing that. Mind you, they're essentially the same enemy, but still. Anyway, we got a kid. Odd. But, alrighty. And that's what we need to get the spell in the next dungeon, so make sure you do... next town, so make sure you do that. And there's one other thing we want to do in this maze island for right now, without doing the palace there in the top right. There is a magic container in this maze somewhere. And I'm heading right for it. Obviously, as you might have been able to tell just from the one earlier, first off, this is obviously a maze, and there are paths you can take that completely make you completely avoid any kind of random battle. Or, quote-unquote random, they're actually set points, but you get what I mean. I'm just not sure of that path. Anyway, I cut out of the maze island because why the hell not? And we can still get the spider enemies here for some reason. I don't know why they're still around. Screw you Tektites, I don't care. And now we're actually heading towards the next town, which is to the west. Anyway, got two new enemies here technically. Blue Octoroks, which take 2 or 3 shots. And Levers, which I hate still. They may have looked like pineapples in the first game, but this one they're just annoying. And on the way to the next town, we're gonna fight in 2 of these screens. This one with just normal normal blue Octoroks. And the next one's essentially the same screen with bubbles, for some reason. I do think the fire spell actually does increase your damage output, but I'm not too sure about that. And here we are. And by the way, as I mentioned earlier, at the beginning of the next part, I'm actually going to have different levels. Because I grinded Tektites off-screen for that 2,500 experience points that I need for this upcoming level. And for the level after that, so I could be sure I'm ahead on levels for the upcoming dungeons. I don't grind much in this game. In fact, this is probably the only opportunity I do it at. But with that, I'm going to need to end this off here. Thank you guys for watching, and in part 5, we'll be checking out the town of Darunia. See you guys then.